What's up, guys? It's Mr. Fit to Flourish, and this is our week in stocks in review, and then our upcoming week in review. So this is our stocks and coffee. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys here. So looking in the markets this week with K5 and Fit to Flourish, we all start with a quote, and the quote for today is, "There are no traffic jams along the extra mile." So this basically means if you go that extra mile, there's not going to be a ton of people there. A lot of people aren't putting in the work to be that in that 1%. So as long as you go the extra mile, I promise you, you will make it to the top, and it's going to be a quick route. We have the best team in the world, First Team Investing. Resources in the Discord. As you can see, we have YouTube and educational tutorials. We look at charts live every night. We trade live every morning, and there's more to come. Masterminds, meetups, you name it. And then our week in review. So we had great play calls with PLTR, shorts. We had Hood shorts. We had QQQ calls, SPY calls, IWM calls, Tesla calls, Microsoft calls. Yo, those Tesla calls went absolutely crazy on Friday. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, there's a ton of volatility in the markets, which yields a ton of opportunity. Earnings this week, we had a ton of earnings. So I'm just going to kind of list off three of the ones that I was most interested in. So the first would be PLTR. PLTR had a great earnings beat, and they got a lot of price target upgrades from analysts. And the stock went up 40% from the day of earnings. That is insane. Sales were up 30% year over year. And just keep in mind, the CEO on November 5th sold 12 million shares. I'm pretty sure he's kicking himself because the stock's up 40%. But he sold $650 million worth of shares. So he would have probably been up to $1 million, or $1 billion, a billy. But SMCI, so SMCI is tanky. So it's dropping. So it dropped 25% after the earnings update, and they're facing possible delisting after its auditor, Ernst & Young, resigned amid allegations of accounting irregularities and claims of potential export control violations. So this is huge. This is why SMCI took that tank about a week ago, after their auditor actually resigned. So the company shares closed at $24.53 on Friday, pretty much wiping out all of their gains for 2024. The stock had peaked at $118.81 in March, so keep that in mind. And then last, the stock AppLovin. So AppLovin is up 72% after earnings. So they were trading at $168 and moved all the way up to $290. Insane. And it's up 600% on the year. So keep AppLovin on watch. It did get a ton of price target upgrades on Thursday and Friday as well. In terms of the economic data this week, so we had a Fed rate cut. So Jay Powell and the Fed, FOMC, they cut rates by 25 basis points, bringing rates down to 4.75%. We had U.S. initial jobless claims come in a little higher than expected. We still got our rate cut. And then in terms of continuing jobless claims, went up just a tad bit as well. We also had a 10-year Treasury yield auction on November 5th, and what was previous was 4.066%, and currently 4.347% for the 10-year yields. Okay, and then in terms of related news and buzz, this was election week. This is the week we've all been waiting for, okay? And stocks absolutely ripped. So Trump won the election, so the Republican Party will be in place in the White House, and stocks absolutely ripped. And we saw Tesla rip as well, as Elon Musk was a big supporter of Trump. And Trump is going to be helping Elon Musk, okay? That's how you do business. That's how you do business. As the president, he was helped by Elon, and now he's got to reach his hand back. So keep in mind too, this week, if you have a cash account on Monday, understand that your cash trades from Friday won't settle until Tuesday. Okay, they won't settle until Tuesday. Why is that? We have a holiday, and the bond market's closed on Monday. It's Veterans Day on Monday. Banks are closed, so keep that in mind. And then we also have, so SPY and the Qs hit all-time highs. S&P is up big right now. It's on its way to $600, and it's expected to hit $630 in the next 12 months. And I don't see that being impossible anymore at all. And in terms of Amazon, so Amazon had a huge earnings beat. We saw that last week, and it finally broke that $200 mark. So very, very interesting here. Now let's see if Amazon can hold. It's currently up around $210. It's going to keep hitting those psychological levels at those $5 increments. So keep that on watch. 210 back to 205 potentially, and then onwards up to 215 and 220. And then Nvidia joined the Dow. We saw that Nvidia was having a little run up along with the elections, but also running up after this news of it joining the Dow and replacing Intel. But on November 8th, when it actually joined the Dow, it actually sold off a little bit. So that goes into play in terms of the whole buy the rumor, sell the news. So keep that in mind when you're trading stocks. You want to be buying into the event, running up into an event. This goes for earnings as well. And then typically you'll see investors sell off when the event actually takes place. VST is joining the Dow as well, and will actually join the Dow on November 8th, replacing AES. All right, and then Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin, man? Bitcoin is at all-time highs. It hit all-time highs this week at $77,312.18. So keep in mind when you're trading Bitcoin, look for MSTR and Coin. You can look at those stocks for options. Coin absolutely ripped, and MSTR is on a ripper as well. And Bitcoin is really expected to break out into end of year, and this is occurring because Trump had already said that he wants the U.S. to be a leader in terms of holding a ton of Bitcoin. So he wants us to be stockpiling Bitcoin. So that's going to cause a huge uptick in Bitcoin. So we should see Bitcoin break that 80K mark this week. And then I always want to bring up this potential New York Stock Exchange hours change. So we're currently trading from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. From Monday through Friday, but there are proposals to regulatory, which is subject to regulatory approval, but proposals to change the times to be a 22-hour day, where it would be 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to 11:30 p.m. So that would be absolutely insane. It is earnings season, so a look ahead this week. The earnings to look out for, in my opinion, these are going to be pretty volatile earnings. So keep in mind Tuesday. So we have Shopify, we have Home Depot pre-market, and then we have Kava, Instacart, and then Spotify and Rocket after hours on Tuesday. And then on Thursday we have some big boys. We have Disney pre-market, and then we have Applied Materials and ASTS. Those are going to be two big ones to look out for, ASTS and AMAT. We could see ASTS absolutely shred going into earnings and then after earnings, so we'll kind of keep that on watch. And then AMAT as well, Applied Materials, we could see that absolutely rip as well, and that'll kind of affect the price movement of Nvidia as well. And then in terms of economic data this week, like I said, Monday is Veterans Day. The bond market's closed. Stock market will be open. Banks will be closed. So if you have a cash account, like I said, your settled cash will settle on Tuesday. And then Tuesday, we have the NFIB index. And then Wednesday, this week's kind of pretty big. Okay, so Wednesday, we have core CPI. And then we have the monthly U.S. federal budget. And then Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, core PPI, and we have Jay Powell speaking at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Friday, we just have U.S. retail sales. Okay, and kind of a ton of other stuff too that I didn't mention here too. So on the watch list this week, we got SPY, we got the Qs, of course, Nvidia. Wanted to add IWM in here as well. The Russell 2000, it's been on a tear as well. Nvidia, of course, MSTR and Coin, and I'm going to take Carvana off of here, but I do want to kind of keep an eye out for AMAT and ASTS. These are going to be two pretty volatile stocks here with earnings incoming. And then look out for Nvidia. Will be having earnings on 11/20. Okay, 11/20, November 20th. So that is all I had for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's iteration of our Stocks and Coffee. We will see you next time. It's Mr. Fit to Flourish, and I'm out. Good morning, welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. Let's talk wellness, finance, and growth.